Now on NBC Connecticut today at 8:30, Irma takes aim. The Category 4 storm, a monster, as it roars towards Florida. The warning from the state's governor, get out now.
If you are in an evacuation zone, you need to go now.
As Irma hammers Cuba, the death toll from the destruction is rising. We have live team coverage as landfall ticks down to just hours away.
And Irma also taking a turn. It's now battering Cuba right now. Cuba is weakening the storm just slightly, but a new part of Florida has to be on guard after some changes through the overnight track. We'll take a look at Irma and our local forecast coming up.
And riding to make the world closer to cancer-free. An exclusive look from Drone Ranger as cyclists hit the road for cancer research in New Haven. We'll bring you along for the ride and the stories behind it.
This is NBC Connecticut Today at 8:30.
We are running out of time. The storm is almost here.
I think our world is going to change.
Bracing for Irma, the storm is knocking on Florida's doorstep with landfall now less than 24 hours out. Thanks for joining us on your Saturday morning. I'm Shannon Miller. Right now, the storm is a Category 4 hurricane with winds of about 130 miles per hour. This is brand new video from our crew down at Miami Beach. You can see the rough surf and looming clouds as Irma closes in. About 5.6 million people, more than a quarter of Florida's population, have been warned to get out fast. The storm has already devastated parts of the Caribbean, killing at least 18 people. Cuba and the Bahamas are in the crosshairs right now as Irma circles toward the United States. This is a live look here. Meteorologist Darren Sweeney begins our team coverage with brand new information on Hurricane Irma. Darren.
Yeah, as you saw behind you there, these eye of the storm now showing up on Key West's radar. You can see the Keys are right in through here. Here's Miami, there's Fort Myers, here's the storm. Now the storm has been kind of just brushing the coastline here. It hasn't actually gotten over mainland Cuba. Now earlier this morning we had an advisory in that had the turn toward the west-northwest. But now the latest advisory bringing this west, which is good news. We're trying to find some silver linings to this powerful storm. Good news is that the wind is down to 130 miles per hour as it interacts with the land here in Cuba. But notice between here and here, there's 85 to 90 degree water temperatures, and that is expected to intensify Irma again to a Category 4 storm. It's not out of the question to see this rapidly intensify to near a Category 5. It all depends on how much interaction occurs with land here. But you can see this shift now, Miami out of the cone of uncertainty here, and landfall somewhere between, say, Fort Myers and Tampa looks likely sometime on Sunday with winds of 150 miles per hour. That includes the barrier islands of Sanibel, Marco Island, and also Captiva Island. And you can see as it works up toward the north, Tampa Bay, major storm surge and a major hurricane landfall. Current winds right now, they're ramping up anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per hour. Look at this in Homestead, 44 mile per hour gust already. So this is going to be an entire Florida storm. When Charley came ashore on the southwestern coast as a Category 4 here, it was a beautiful, sunny, breezy day here. It will not be the same thing with Irma. Irma is almost double the size. So it's going to be a huge storm for them. Back here at home, and we'll get to the wind gusts there. Back here at home, I'm forecasting a quiet day, upper 60s to lower 70s. I'll have more details on our quiet weather and how long it lasts, and more details on Irma and its impact on the Sunshine State. So many of us have friends or family there or vacation there. We'll talk about it coming up in your First Alert forecast.
All right, Darren, thanks so much for that impressive video just in from Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters, giving this incredible aerial view of Irma as Hurricane Irma churns toward Florida. More of the damage it did in the Caribbean is coming to light. This drone video shows shattered ports, broken houses, and debris scattered across the Virgin Islands. Hurricane Irma ravaged a series of other small islands in the Northeast Caribbean, ripping down trees and buildings in its path. Americans left in the wake of Hurricane Irma's destruction in the Caribbean are trying to figure out just what to do next. That includes Jennifer Maines, a Milford native who now lives on St. John. She says the island has been devastated and as the storm prepares to make landfall in Florida, she is worried not enough attention is being paid to Americans who don't live stateside.
We are United States citizens, and we need help. Please don't forget about us while you're taking care of everybody else.
Maine says there is no running water, internet access, and limited food supply on the island, which is the smallest of the U.S. Virgin Islands. She says despite the destruction, she intends to stay on the island. Utility crews from Connecticut are heading south this morning, ready to help repair possible damage from Irma. NBC Connecticut's Kristen Johnson continues our live team coverage now from Berlin with that side of the story. Kristen.
Good morning, Shannon. Connecticut's contingency of about 30 crew members left here from the headquarters of Eversource in Berlin just about 15 minutes ago. And with Irma now knocking on Florida's door, preparations are already underway for the aftermath of that hurricane. Eversource is part of a nationwide mutual aid network which helps in these types of disasters. Utility companies have been asked for extra workers and resources to come down to Florida to help restore power after the storm makes landfall. 100 Eversource employees left for Florida this morning, including 30 line workers and support personnel from Connecticut. They expect to have boots on the ground by Monday afternoon, but they say they can't really plan for what they're going to see until they get there. During Superstorm Sandy, utility companies from across the country lent a helping hand in the Northeast, and now these crews say it's their turn to repay the favor.
This is what we do. This is what we love to do, and this is, we're happy to assist and get lights turned on.
The Connecticut convoy alone is bringing 18 trucks and other equipment, including their mobile command center. We'll have much more coming up in the next half hour. Shannon.
All right, Kristen, thanks. Today begins the first of several Hurricane Irma relief drives across the state. Latino elected officials in New Britain will be hosting one of the drives this morning on High Street in New Britain. It runs from 11 to 8 tonight. The next events will be in New Haven, Waterbury, Hartford, Bridgeport, and New London. Stay with NBC Connecticut and ABC News as we track Hurricane Irma. Coming up, a live report from the ground in South Florida as they brace for a direct hit from the storm.